So what my passion is that I really want to be a transhumanist athlete, and I study cheetahs. And what I do with scientists is we study cheetahs. So what we do is we go into the lab and I transform into a cheetah, into a simulated cheetah, and then I experience what it's like, only for a short period of time, because I can't stay simulated as a cheetah for very long. It's not good for my mental health. I'm quite young as well, I'm only 17, so I also have a lot of restrictions with when I can stay in certain bodies and also for how long. But anyways, what I do is I go into a cheetah body and I experience it, feel it, study it, and then I come outside of my body and I go back to my transhuman body, and then I think about what upgrades or what changes do I want to make. So my job is actually my future job is really creative. I get to design my own body. You can kind of see my face right now. It's actually quite cheetah-like, and that's just kind of aesthetic for now, for this stream, for this time travel stream. I can't bring my transhuman body to you guys today because we just don't have the technology for it yet. But yeah, so I study my body, I make changes, and then I compete. And it's super interesting. Like, loads of people have loads of different types of inspiration. Some people have very non-human, ambiguous inspirations for their transhuman body. Mine is very specific to cheetahs. I'm just obsessed with it, especially because they're extinct now. I feel like I have it's my duty that I study cheetahs to keep it alive in some way. And I know it's not alive in a traditional form, but it is alive. If you guys like, you can always ask me questions because I'm here for you. So feel free and I can answer them for you. I keep going in tangents, but it's always strange talking to a screen. But yeah, and then what else happened? So let me think. There was also in 2021 the first male contraceptive that was available to a wide audience, and it was happened, and that's really strange to me because why did it happen so late? And then in 2024, that's when we started to do 3D printing of clothing, and that was, yeah, so I guess manufacturing really changed over the years. Now we don't really have human manufacturers, everything's done through bots. And I guess that's another reason why loads of jobs became unavailable, and that's why loads of people don't have jobs anymore. The cat is running but going nowhere. Oh, that's a cheetah, and that cheetah isn't just running, that cheetah is a hologram, and it's just a piece of artwork, It's one of my favorite pieces of artworks. It's actually one of the only pieces in the room that is an artwork that I chose. The rest of them are my parents' artwork, and they're from 2020 actually. So the one that says, "Do you believe in?" So the painting to the top right, that one is a painting that's actually reflecting on a lot of things that are happening in 2020. So I think, if I'm correct, this is just what my parents said. My parents, who would have been Gen Zers back then, they said kind of what this painting meant was that it says, "Do you believe in?" And then there's loads of different categories. So it's media, capitalism, religion, politics, science, history. But then there's one circled that says potential. And I think the idea of this painting is that the one that's circled is the one that we all can unite in. No matter whether somebody still believes in capitalism and that's what they live and breathe. And I know it doesn't seem so direct as that often, but some people, everyone, we are contradicted by nature, and we live our lives through capitalism, but some people live it more. Some people are more addicted to it. Some people really believe in that future and want it to happen, whereas other people are absorbed by media or politics or science. And then at the bottom, can you see it's signed by reality? I think that's quite funny. And then, and then there's my Diet Prada drink. That's a really great energy drink. I wish you guys could try it. This season's must-have drink. Exactly, yeah, it's really fashionable. What about the knife? What does it say? I can't read it from here. Oh, it says center point. So I think this sculpture, what it means is that this idea that we all understand the world from our center point. So we all see things from a certain point in space and time. And that can be the thing that, it's the thing that can, like if a knife is stuck into the ground, it's something that's secure into the ground. So it allows you to know who you are, but at the same time, your center point can also be used as a weapon. It can be used as a defense against others, or it can cancel out other people's realities, or often it's also to do with how far you can see from your own center point. I'm dumb. No, you're not dumb, don't be silly. In the future, we still have sockets. I assumed everything would be wireless. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but I said that this bedroom isn't what it looks like in 2050. It's just a bedroom that I thought would be familiar to you guys, because I don't want to reveal 2050 to you. I don't want to take that away from you. I shouldn't do it without your consent. Do you get what I'm trying to say? If you get what I mean? What is the symbol on your top? Oh, I think it says writing into reality. So it's about how our stories write the reality that we live in. Centrepoint is also a charity for homeless people in 2020. Do you have homeless people in the future? Yeah, so we do have homeless people. I guess we have like worldless people. So in the future you live in lots of different metaverses, and sometimes people get lost in those metaverses. And also, I guess, when you think about inequality is completely different in the future. So I think inequality has a big, how inequality develops is largely to do with the climate change, and it's to do with, I'll go back and just explain it maybe in a more chronological order, but basically in the future what happens, and you'll be experiencing it, a lot of this very soon, but basically what happens is because there is more, because of the temperature rising, loads of developing countries become so hot that their resources change. So for example, places like Russia or Canada or places in Scandinavia, suddenly they have loads of new resources, but then places like Africa, India, they become so hot and a lot of their raw resources dry up, particularly water. There's going to be, I shouldn't reveal it to you yet, but basically there's going to be a World War III, and that war is going to be over resources. And what will happen is there will be basically loads of resources will start to run out. It will cause a lot of conflict. There'll be lots of different countries gaining new resources and certain countries not. But at the same time, a lot of these developing countries, their population is increasing, but then within the developed countries there'll be people getting even richer, but they won't just be richer in the sense of their money and their resources from their environment, but they will be richer also with under the skin technology. So they'll be able to have upgrades, and they will change physically, so they'll be biologically superior. So I know I didn't really explain it very well, but it's so much stuff, and I have to really process that you guys don't know that this is going to happen. Spoilers. Are borders and countries the same in 2050? So borders, I guess, so in 2050 you can basically go around the world in 2.5 hours, but at the same time transport isn't used in the same way. So you know, obviously it can create a lot of carbon footprint, but also because people live in metaverses, and also certain places are not as safe. So with the climate crisis, what will happen is lots of countries from developing, lots of citizens from developing countries will become climate refugees. So everything is just going to change completely. Do you still have dating apps in 2050? Yeah, we have dating apps, we have, well, we don't, the thing is it just is all done through telepathy, but we have like dating metaverses, so we have like dating worlds that you can enter, and that's really fun. Can anyone be whoever they want to be? How do you connect in the future? So you can kind of be whoever you want to be. I guess it's dependent on the capacity of your imagination. It's also dependent on what metaverse you live in, and it's also dependent on your financial situation as well, I guess. And I guess, like, you know, with transhumanism, a lot of people in developing countries are not transhuman. So, for example, in most of the developed countries, all their prime ministers and presidents and stuff, they're all transhuman. Like most celebrities, they're all transhuman now. Like in the Olympics, biological sports is less popular than transhuman sports. Do you connect when in your cheetah self? Yes, so when I'm in my cheetah self, I'm normally training, and sometimes when I'm not training, I become a turtle. And the reason why I become a turtle is because it really helps me learn how to be the opposite. It allows me to relax. So, is human cloning a thing? Oh, so yeah, it's definitely a thing, you know. Well, also another thing is the platform diverse body. So you can live in multiple metaverses at the same time. So whilst I'm time travel streaming to you, I'm also just living my life in my other body. You know, everything's about efficiency. So it's like, why would I do one if I can do 2 or 3? But it's also, again, it relates back to money and resources and digital resources and digital knowledge. So that's why it's really important to, I guess one of the biggest advices that I can give to you is that for artists and creatives, is that you need to invest in creatives creating technology, because if not, it's going to be used for the wrong reasons and it's going to be undiverse technology. It's one of the most important things for you to do. It's actually one of the main messages I want you to remember from our call. It's one of the reasons why I decided to call you guys today. Are there any new viruses that eclipse from the effect of COVID? What's COVID again? Can someone remind me? Anyways, what else do you want to know? So, do you like to create? Of course I love to create. I think my creating is all surrounding transhumanism, and it's all about, my becoming a cheetah athlete, I guess. How do you think it could go really wrong? How do I think what could go really wrong? Creating technology is neither good or bad. It's what it's done with it. It's what it's done with it that matters. It's what's done with it matters. COVID is that new K-pop band. Oh, I think I've heard of it before. Do you like to gain social status in 2050? Oh yeah, of course we do. Social status is everything, you know. Obviously, you know, the way that we can talk and communicate to people is even more connected. But I guess also it's kind of strange because also you're in so many different worlds and so many different realities. The way that you get lost and the way that you experience so many different kinds of people and kinds of experiences is just so much more vast now. Are people still mortal? Oh, that's so silly. Of course they're not. Like, that's one of the main technologies that have been developed. You know, Google, Facebook, they all invest billions of dollars into immortality. It's like they're like anti-aging cream, but technological anti-aging cream. they're obsessed with it, and not that many people live under 100 nowadays. But it's also dependent again on whether you have upgrades. And so one thing you guys don't know about is that the government has the DNA of every single person. So the other day when I was in my Uber 3000, I was talking to my self-driving car, and I was talking about this. So my Uber 3000 is inbuilt with psychiatry. So I was talking to my Uber 3000 and saying about this experience that I had, and it was about me getting an illness but not actually getting the illness. So I was informed by the government that I was going to have an illness, and then they cured me before it happened. So they prevented it before it happened. But then I was talking to my Uber 3000 and I was saying about how did that affect me? I never got to experience that illness. I didn't get to feel that suffering, and are they taking something away from me? Are they taking something away from me without my consent? Like, what are the psychological effects of me not experiencing that? And I know in some ways it can be a selfish thing to say, because it's helped so many people not get ill, but at the same time I couldn't help but feeling that something was taken away from me. It's a really weird feeling. Can you transform and change your appearance now? So I can't actually change my appearance right now because I can only change bodies once a day. And the reason why is because I'm under 18. So it's kind of for mental health reasons. I need to focus and learn who I am. And if I'm constantly changing who I am, it could confuse me. So even with me being a cheetah and my transhuman body, there's a lot of restrictions, and I can only do certain things as I develop with age, and it's also to do with recording my mental health and how I react to it, and there's a lot of different reasons. But yeah,